How's your week going? Just popping in again on your feed on a Wednesday for another Instagram podcast.
Welcome to the #TwinLifePodcast.
I think I said Instagram podcast. That's not what I meant. I meant TwinLifePodcast. You guys know where you're here. If you're watching, you know
you're at the #TwinLifePodcast if you're here. If this is your first time, if you just came across one of our videos, please, real quick, pause, hit the bell, subscribe so you can get alerts when we have all these new videos, because we have so many viewers that haven't subscribed, which is sad. It hurts our hearts.
Yes, please subscribe.
Please subscribe. We want you to see all of our fun videos.
Yes, we don't want you to miss out on anything new and exciting. So that said, ready to get into it?
We are ready.
Okay.
Hey, Twin.
Hey, Twin. How's it going?
Good. It's been a good week.
Good week.
Eventful. Just, I guess the most eventful thing that happened this week was we did a Zoom call with all of our cousins last night. Almost all of them.
Yes, we missed a couple.
We missed a couple of them, but we have like all girl cousins, so all the ones that are like
13 of us, right?
16?
16? Really? I
You
thought it was 13.
No, because there's Alex, Elijah, and baby Terrell.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Big cousins, though.
Yeah.
I guess the last time we calculated, I don't think they were born.
They also, like, everybody has babies now, so there's even more, because not everybody, but a lot of us have babies. But that was super fun. We got to chat with everybody on Zoom. It's been a long time since we've all kind of, like, not been in, like, the same space. Obviously, we're in the same room, but we were in the same space. So that was super fun. So we had a really fun time with that. I was actually surprised that they were all like, everybody's all down for the Zoom call.
You think people have lives, you know?
Like, yeah. But it was funny because, like, since you can Zoom on your phone, we had our cousin Crystal was, like, out with friends and, like, literally just had us, like,
Ashley was at
propped up.
Was at Kohl's and then Target.
Yeah, and then Mickey was doing her bedtime routine with her babies and
so it was nice. Everyone just kind of like sat their phone down and it was just like we were hanging out. So it was kind of cool.
It was fun.
But anything else? I mean, there's obviously been like some serious stuff, some sad stuff with protests and things going on. We had a couple of like Target and Walmart closed early on.
Yeah, there's
Friday
no curfews around the country.
There's curfews going on, so I guess another thing I want to say is just like wish everyone to be safe. And
this weekend was like the really big one in DC, and people apparently, as much as I heard yesterday, it was all very peaceful. There wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah, that's
I haven't checked the news this morning to verify that, but as of last night, everybody was pretty chill. So it's really good to hear that people are that the majority of the protests are,
peaceful.
So it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I'm just kind of counting down the days. Tomorrow is the day that Blake and I really need to like strap in and like really start organizing and going through our stuff. We did actually like kind of room by room go through this stuff a couple months ago, go through our rooms and stuff a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. But I just really need to like trim it down to what we actually like really need. What I don't want to get to when we get there and then just like I'm like, where is this going?
Yeah.
This has zero place. Like I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that everything that we bring with us is something that is specific for a purpose. If it doesn't serve a purpose, if it does not serve us, it's not coming.
Yeah, basically. Exactly.
So
we also had, since we record our podcast on Sunday, we didn't talk about this on the podcast that was up on Wednesday, but and also I guess we're a few podcasts behind. So as we're recording this, it is June 7th. So the Tuesday before this, we did have the Blackout Tuesday, where people were encouraged to promote Black businesses, Black podcasts, Black media. So we appreciate. We had a couple of people that shouted us out and said, thank you for having a podcast that shows the Black community, and so we're very happy to be part of that.
We're very happy to be a part of the Black
family.
Community.
Yeah,
it's very
cool
proud
to be part of that family and that community. So, and I've also, in the process of come across, I kind of like randomly Googled like podcasts that are hosted by Black women. And there are a lot. I specifically mom podcasts because that's kind of my favorite genre of podcasting. Yeah. I don't really like political news, whatever.
Yeah, me either.
When I consume media, mostly I like it to be positive and uplifting. So podcasts is the same thing for me. And so there's been a couple of them. There was one that I was listening to, and it's two women and two Black women. One of them is darker skin. The other one is like more our complexion. And they just talk about like motherhood, and they're kind of a little bit crazy. Their podcast I think is like moms make bad choices or
oh, wow.
something like that. And so some of them are pretty cool, but the most recent episode they were talking to one of their friends who is a in the porn industry. So I was like, this is interesting. I don't know how many episodes of this I listened to. It may be one of those where I'll pick an episode and listen to it.
Yeah.
There's also been some podcasts that are made by white people where they have really been allies. I'm a huge fan of the Duggars. If you don't like the Duggars, don't care. Don't judge me. I love them. Ginger Volo and married to Jeremy Volo, and she is one of the older siblings of the Duggar family. And she moved to California, and her husband is from Texas. Anyways, long story short, they started a podcast about that is a Christian podcast. He's actually a pastor. And so it's a Christian podcast, and they do about 15, 20 minutes, and they talk about, they basically give you like your nugget of faith and what they say hope for the day. And it came out today. Their first episode came out, second real episode came out today. And it was basically about everything going on in the black community right now. And they're not black. They're obviously white. If you don't know who the Duggars are, they're white. And Jeremy is white as well, or Hispanic and white. And they just kind of discuss like, kind of like the biblical perspective on it and all kinds of things. So that's a really good podcast to check out. And I just want to say, again, thank you to like people that are not in the black community or not people of color who are coming behind us and being allies, because I think it's important to be allies. So
yeah, I agree. And like we talked a little bit about trying to raise allies, and obviously naturally, and honestly, you would think that naturally as like mixed women with mixed kids that like we would easily raise like allies in the community in life. But it's not just about being allies of other people, it's also being allies of your own culture, because obviously there's definitely like the march is about police brutality, not white cops versus black people. That's not what the protest is about. Right. Because you've in some of the videos you've seen like black cops like doing things that are similar, they're the same as anybody else. It's just about people not taking advantage of their own power. Of their power.
People who are taking advantage of their power.
It's about people who are taking advantage of their power, and that's not wanting them to not take advantage of their power.
Yeah.
To use their powers for good. Mm-hmm. But this week with the blackout, people kind of did it wrong a little bit.
Yeah.
Before you hop on a bandwagon,
read about it.
Read it before you just do stuff.
Figure out who started it and figure out what
the reasoning behind it was.
For.
The reason for doing the blackout was not to post giant black squares on your social media. The reason the purpose behind it was for people who are allies in the black community, and even if you're in the black community, to support and to promote
and to go silent
and to not promote anything on your social media if you're not in the African American black community, to not post anything on your social, so that people that are in the black community, their social media will get more like views.
Yeah,
that didn't work.
Yeah,
good plan. Didn't work
as the day went on, and I think as we got into Wednesday, people kind of realized, oh crap, we did this wrong. So I was seeing a lot more people putting in their stories like shouting out their top 10 black podcasts or their top 10 black shows or their top 10 books about race and equality and things like that.
And that is what you need to be doing. Yeah. So honestly, if like for me, because I don't have anybody to like watch my son, I'm not about to be out there protesting. You can judge me if you want. I'm not about to be putting Landon in a stroller and out protesting.
Yeah.
Just to me, it doesn't feel like a safe space for him to be in. Mm-hmm. But if you feel the need to not protest, the main thing that you can do is there's two things. One, educate yourself, and two, promote work, businesses, entertainment that is by not just black people, but by in general, just promote, whether it's women, whether it's black people, whether it's Latino people, promote businesses and promote things that, one, bring you joy, and two, that are silenced a lot of times, that don't get people don't see them. It's amazing. The cool things that I've seen as far as like media stuff goes is Netflix, Amazon. I've been getting I got an email from Yelp, Chipotle, choosing not to be silent during this. Yeah, choosing not to be silent through these things that, Target's upset because they've had some buildings destroyed. But their CEO is like, we've had some buildings destroyed, but that's not the purpose behind this. That is not the basis of this march. Like, we are still behind it, even though we've had some of our stuff being vandalized. We are still behind it. And so it's just a matter of just like focusing on the real purpose of the movement. And so, so if you just like go on Netflix, HBO, Amazon Prime, all the major like
Streaming
services have an entire thing of
it's like Black History Month all over again. Yeah.
So you can see all the things. So watch all the things that you can. So just support them. You don't understand how simple it is. It's just by you watching. Just watching a movie. Simply just doing that helps to support people, and that's just all you have to do.
Yeah. And if you have kids too, buying books that are written by people of color is a great idea as well. I posted I think it's the last thing we'll cover on this, and then we'll move on to our Did You Sees. Yeah. But I posted a link on
our link tree.
On our link tree. So if you go in the description box, if you're listening on or watching on YouTube, in the description, and if you're listening on the show notes, or wait, the other way around. Yeah. Is it the other way around?
Show notes, description box is YouTube.
Okay, so yes, exactly what I just said. Either way, if you scroll down, you'll be able to click a link to our link tree that has all of our links. We added a link for Amazon. I cultivated a list of books that I think are great books that reflect great characters of color as well as educate little ones. So specifically the toddler age, because that's where my son is at. Specifically that age. There are also some other really good books. And it's not just about books that talk about like Martin Luther King or Rosa Parks or like that kind of stuff. It's more about just exposure. And I think like as I heard another YouTuber say this, that, and she's a mixed couple, it's Gabe and Babe. I talk about them so much. Her husband is white. In their podcast this week, last week, they talked about the fact that it is difficult because they live in a mostly white community. So she was just thinking like the other day, like, how are we exposing our son to people of color as well? Because if you live in a community that's mostly white, how are you doing that? Right. And I think that that's kind of a thing too. We actually live in a mostly Hispanic community. Yeah. So Phoenix is exposed to a lot of Hispanic people, which is great because of his half Mexican heritage. But is he exposed to other cultures, Black people? There's a good amount of Asian people.
Even vice versa, like people that are both raised in all like African American communities, a lot of times they have culture shock when they either go to college or whatever because they're surrounded by way more white people, and they're like, well, that's weird. It literally goes both ways on that. Yeah. It is important, and honestly, like nowadays, because of I think we talked about this a little bit last week, that because of social media, our kids are exposed, and you see it a lot more on like in our social media and stuff. You see a lot more ethnicity. So for like no kid like when we were in our high school will ever be able to say like, well, I've never seen a Black. That's not you're never gonna be able to be 30 as a Generation Z person or whatever generation our kids are in and be like, I had never seen a Black person before, or I'd never seen a Hispanic person before, or I'd never seen. That's never gonna happen because our world is so interconnected.
You simply need to just click on the computer.
Yeah, just go on the computer. So, anyways, okay. So please support small businesses, local businesses, women-run businesses. Just support businesses of people that are often muted and don't get the support. And that is the easiest thing that you can
businesses
do.
From the LGBT community, like, let's support everybody.
Yeah.
Spread your money where it goes.
Spread your love.
Where it should go. Yes, and your love.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh my gosh. This one thing about the Did You See really, when I heard it like low-key bothered me. So Amanda Seales, if you don't know, we've talked about The Real. Amanda Seales has decided that she no longer wants to be a part of The Real family. She did not renew her contract. And Amber is sipping her tea over here. The way that I feel about that. Now, wait, okay. So this is the thing.
I'm so
This
happy.
is the thing. Amber doesn't follow Amanda Seales.
I did. I followed her. I recently unfollowed her.
She unfollowed her. I follow her, but because of the algorithm, because I don't interact with her as much, I get more of the other three people on the cast. Adrian, Jeannie, Lonnie. Okay?
And
Tamara.
Adrian,
I'm sorry. There's 5 of them now. So 4. Yes, the other 4. Even when I even get more of Tamar than I get of Amanda
Tamar
Seales.
has a great. If you do not follow Tamar Braxton, she has a hilarious Instagram.
Her social media is hilarious.
Her and Nene Leakes give me so much life.
I follow Nene Leakes, but I shouldn't.
Awesome.
So Amanda Seales is very controversial because we announced a few months ago that she had joined the cast.
6 months ago.
Yeah, and
I was joined the cast.
I was happy with it. I was totally fine with her being. I enjoyed her being a guest. What I don't like is the fact that I don't turn on The Real to watch The View, and I feel like it sort of just turned into The View.
I don't.
Every single thing that happens is suddenly something political, something having to do with injustice for black people. And even when Jeannie brought up, I was telling Amber this the other day, even when Jeannie brought up how there was the black men that had assaulted this older Asian man, I feel like Amanda still wasn't like, okay, you know what, that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't recognize that that is an actual issue. And I understand being an activist for a community, so I understand being an activist, but also you don't get to... she's doing what we're telling white people to stop doing.
I heard something the other day from, and I think Blake actually sent it to me, and I cannot remember her name right now, because I'll have to remember it, but she posted a video that people are going to hate this video. But it was a video about that people don't feel like, so she doesn't feel like, people should be making turning George Floyd into a martyr. Because,
Amanda Seals?
No. Yeah. She was saying that we shouldn't be turning George Floyd into a martyr, and that in the black community we have a habit of turning criminals, because they're black and they were mistreated or whatever.
We give them a pass.
We give them a pass and we turn them into heroes. She was like, no other culture does that. And I was talking to Blake about it. He was like, yeah, kind of even like with white people, it's like if you committed a crime, like, your ass is out there. Like,
they're like, dang, we wish you were not white.
We wish you were not white.
Exactly.
You are removed. And she said that it represents, it continues to feed the narrative that African American people and men specifically are criminals, and we need to be supporting them. And I was like,
that's kind of a good point.
It's a very good point. And she also was making points with a lot of statistics. I'm bouncing around whether or not I'm going to share this in our description box or not, because she's gotten a lot of flack about it, because she hasn't really said anything. She's like a political figure. Like, her job is in politics. And she's an African-American, chocolate brown, really pretty girl. But she was saying a lot of things with statistics about like how, anyways, I don't need to go into all that, but where I'm wrapping it to Amanda Seals is you don't always need to make it. Sometimes they're just wrong. And what we need to do is there's police brutality on a 74-year-old old white man. The point of the movement should be, yes, Black Lives Matter, obviously. There are so many different things with coronavirus, with their education levels, with gentrifying neighborhoods instead of supporting the small businesses and them, all those things that are keeping African American people at this lower level in some areas all over the country. It's an issue. But there's a point where you have to like take ownership of your own position. Like, I can't say that I feel bad for, like, I can't be like, well, I really feel bad for the gangbanger that shot this police officer because he was dealing drugs and should have been arrested, but he shot this cop. Or vice versa. He's running from the cops and he gets shot and he dies.
Yeah.
Well, now that's police brutality and the police are out to get all the black people.
Yeah, no, they're not.
And we're like, no, it's not. Like, you were a criminal, you need to be treated accordingly.
Yeah.
Do I think that we probably should be using rubber bullets instead of like actual bullets on the street? Yes, because rubber bullets hurt and they will stop you and you won't kill as many people. But with Amanda, she just has this habit of making anything, even any wrongdoing in society, somehow she turns it into like, well, black people had it worse.
Yeah.
But what does that have to do with what we're talking about? What does that have to do with the topic?
But that's kind of my point, is that she is doing the thing that we're asking white people to stop doing. We're asking you to stop saying...
Stop making it about you.
Yeah, we're asking people to stop saying all lives matter. Yes, life matters. We understand that. We get that. And there was a comedian too, and this wasn't on our list, but because I just saw it this morning. Jamie Foxx and Kevin Hart posted this comedian today, and it was hilarious.
Did they?
They posted a comedian. I will get you the links in the description box because it was comedy. It was hilarious. I was literally sitting in the bed this morning at 8 o'clock chuckling to myself, okay? And it was about the Black Lives Matter movement. And he was saying, he was like, yeah, we like, all we're saying is Black Lives Matter. We're not saying they're better than your life. We're not saying anything. We just want to matter. And I was like, okay, he's like, just matter. Like, that's it. We just want to matter. We don't really want anything else, just to matter. And I was like, okay. Anyway, so the way he was saying it was hilarious. And then he's like, so this is the comparison he used was like, so if you looked at your wife and we're like, hey, I love you. And he's like, do you love me? Do you love me too? And she was like, of course, I love all people.
He'd be like, bitch.
He'd be like, whoa, hold up now. Wait a second.
That's not what we were talking about.
I don't care about all people. I care if you love me. Like, this is you know what I'm saying? Like, and we're not saying, yeah, sure, she does love all people, but that was not the question. The question was, do you love me? It's not the same. So anyways.
There was another one that I saw that we didn't, this is another did you see that we didn't include, but, which I'm sure a lot of people did not see, but this one was, it was a pastor, a white pastor. I feel like I have to make it, to give impact now, I feel like you have to specify whether it was a black person or white, their race, so that it shows.
Oh, the comedian was black.
Okay. So this white pastor, he posted, whenever you feel like saying all lives matter, think about he based it in scripture, and it was a passage, I believe, in Luke. I have to look. We'll post it I'll post a link. It's on Facebook. Yeah. Make notes. Ashley's gonna make notes of the things we just said we were gonna post because we forget. So it was in Luke, and he was saying that that Jesus was out in a field of sheep, and he was giving this analogy of there's 100 sheep out there. And one sheep runs off and he gets lost and he could die. He could get eaten or whatever. So Jesus leaves the 99 sheep and goes to care for the one sheep. The other sheep shouldn't be like, well, what about us? Well, you're not in danger. Yeah. Like you're not in danger. Whenever another group is being persecuted, we need to acknowledge that group is being persecuted. LGBTQIA. I think that's all. I think I got all of them. Yeah. LGBTQIA. We did a whole thing until they got their rights to be married, which is fantastic because I'm so happy. That's awesome. Yeah. I have so many friends and I'm so happy that I get to see you and your partner get married.
They've been together for
forever.
Than most straight couples that I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was so excited and so championed that, and that was a right that they should have had all along, right? So we spent that much time promoting them, and that was something that people really wanted to get behind. So now
we have the Pride Festival. Yeah, and we have
So now we need to get behind these group of people until things change. There is so much legislation that needs to change. So when it gets to that point, I just want the protesting to stop so we can not be on curfew, and now that the country's reopening, I don't want to be on curfew now. Yeah,
it's like we're not quarantined.
We're not quarantined.
You better be in your house by 8 o'clock.
Yeah, you're like, we just got our freedom. Okay, so on to the rest of them. So yes, Amanda Seale, she did quit the reel. Like I heard my applause. I am happy only because I feel like we personally agree that there needs to be a white person on the reel.
Yes.
Because the reel is supposed to be...
Somebody leave a comment and tell us because I really think what they need, and we were literally scouring the internet.
Trying to find, if you can think of somebody.
We need a white woman that is married to a black man.
Not even a black man. In an interracial relationship.
Okay, right. In an interracial relationship. A white woman married to a Hispanic man, an Asian man. Somebody that represents somebody in a mixed couple.
But she is white.
That's what we need. Because... it swung way too far in the other direction, because I think a lot of times because were 3 black castmates on the show and have been the whole time
and then freaking Adrian is married to a black man, so they just took off.
It just swings. And that's not bad, but the whole point of the show was to bring light to people of color
and
women of color and women in general. It's not supposed to be like a show that only talks about black issues. And I understand that obviously we know that's important. And also, when I go watch the reel, I want to see funny stuff. I want to know
I want to see lighthearted.
I want to laugh. I want to hear Adrian talk about cacaing all over the whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I watch it for. Again, if I wanted to watch something serious in the morning before I have my freaking cup of tea, I would watch The View.
Yeah, which I don't want to watch because
The Real is not The View. I feel like they're trying to be The View, and it's like, no, why? Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
We like your lane.
Yeah, we like it. It's for those.
It's lighthearted,
and it's for our age group. It's for from 18 to 30. Yep. 35. It's that age group, and we want to hear something lighthearted. So yes, I feel like they need to balance it out. And people were saying that, and people were so upset and I don't know, just saying well, why do we need a white? You need a white person on there because you represented every other ethnicity, really major ethnicity, except for white people on the show. But you're preaching that you're including all. You're not.
Yeah.
And it's not
inclusion if you exclude white people.
Originally, they always say that we're trying to represent women of color, and we want to. There's not really a show that represents women of color. Okay, we get that. but you cannot show a cross section and an opinion and a equal view if you don't have everybody included. Mm-hmm. So I think
there's so many topics you could discuss for having a white woman on there who has mixed babies, because there are so many issues as far as like I watched a YouTube
like trying to do her hair.
Yeah, there was a YouTube video the other day, and this woman is white, and she is not in a mixed relationship, but she has 5 kids. She adopted two older kids from Africa, right? Very common thing for people to do. But what comes along with that is the fact that she has no idea how to do their hair. And she's studied and researched and looked up and asked other people to help her to figure it out, and to like, she does their hair better than I knew how to do my own hair.
Yeah.
Like, she does a great job. And it's not weird. It's just, hey, like, anyways, we're going to end up talking about this forever, but we're going to get to the last Did You See? Which was...
Oh, I was going to say... One more did you see? So Ellen got some backlash because she chose to use the phrase
people of color,
which is what the phrase people have been using BIPOC, which is Black Indigenous People of Color, okay? Or POC, which is people of color. People have been using this phrase for months now.
Yeah.
Okay? Then all of a sudden, Ellen uses it.
That's right.
And now she's like, people have been coming for Ellen during this coronavirus thing.
Excuse me.
Like, she has been like, not, oddly enough, not on the brighter side of any of this. Like, people have been saying that she fired her entire staff without really giving them any notice.
Yeah, that's what Mom said.
She, like, all these things which hurt my heart. A lot of people saying that Ellen's not as nice as people say she is. She's not as, like, you watch the show and you think you're going to be open, open arms and whatever when you come to the set, and you're really not. You don't feel that way, blah, blah, blah. Like, unless you're friends with Ellen, they say that if you're just a regular person on her show, she doesn't treat you as great as she tries to make it seem. So then on top of that, add this, and honestly, for me, Ellen is, like, the queen to me of, like, inclusion, positivity. So for people to read her post and then nitpick the smallest thing out of it, like, they're like, well, Ellen, why can't you say Black people? And I'm like, well, I don't understand why she needed to say Black people.
Yeah.
Like, why? I don't understand why. I didn't understand why people were upset. So people were giving her backlash. So she literally says this: be kind to one another. Why are we picking apart people's, like, genuine, heartfelt desires? Like, when you hear people like Justin Bieber saying, I literally have benefited from Black music, Black style. He's a freaking R&B singer. Like, he is literally made his living off of Black culture.
Yeah.
And he did a great post acknowledging that I need to be more of an ally myself. Like, his best friend is freaking Jaden Smith. Like, obviously he has lots of Black friends, obviously, and in the music industry. But he's like, I just still need to check myself and be more of an ally, and not just, like, appropriating, like, all of the things and then making money off of it and then, like, not giving anything back.
Yeah.
So that was hard. But the last one we're going to get to is going to roll us into our topic.
Yes.
Which is, okay, so there's quite a few funny, like, Facebook profiles for the service industry. One of them is called Bitchy Waiter.
Yes. And there's another one called Server Life. So if you don't follow Server Life,
they're all hilarious. If you've ever been in the service industry, it is hilarious to follow. Granted, Ashley and I are removed from the service industry at the moment, but
only physically, not at heart.
Yeah, not at heart. Physically.
Yes.
So there was a post that was posted by a website called, what does it say? Oh, Broke Ass Stewart, which is obviously not like CNN or anything, but it's a website. And
she said obviously not like CNN.
He wrote this article that basically just said, like, are servers making more on unemployment than they would be at work? Facts. They are.
Yeah.
I lost my job that I just gotten, which is ended up being like an unnecessary job because we're moving to Atlanta, from away.
Yeah.
It ended up being an unnecessary job, but I had just gotten the job and 2 weeks before, and I was supposed to be like training and moving up in this job, and then the coronavirus happened, and so then I didn't have a job anymore. And so obviously we needed to eat.
I mean, you have like a lot of places you have the option to have like 1 day a week.
Well, yeah, it was the option
like 4 hours.
It was the option of me having 1 day a week, which meant I couldn't file unemployment because I would still. But I mean, I guess you can still file unemployment if your hours get significantly cut. But to me, it wasn't worth the gas. Like, it's not worth the gas and me driving to and from, like, Chili's every day to maybe make $30 for that day. Like, that makes no sense to me.
No.
So I was like, I'm not doing that. So I just was like, I'm just going to file. I literally filed for unemployment like the next day. And
yes, because her boss was on it.
She literally called everybody. She's like, hey, file for unemployment.
I think it literally was like March 17th.
And I wasn't going to, because honestly, for me, it was a pride thing. Like, I was just like, I'm not about to do this. I'm not about to file for unemployment. This is ridiculous. This shit'll be done in 3 weeks. I'll be fine. No, I'm glad I did, because it is really
it's been 3 months.
Yeah, Blake and I both, because it was in the process of like finding a new job at the same time. So it was important for both of us, because it was really hard for both of us to do that, to like sit down and actually like it made me upset. Like, I was genuinely like upset, and I felt like I was like less than. But for a person that happily receives unemployment for the next couple weeks until I move, along with some billion people in the country right now.
Well, there's not billion people.
It's not billion or million people that are receiving unemployment right now, and the 1.3 million that filed yesterday for unemployment. Some people aren't getting it because they waited. I literally I filed like the day after we got quarantined. Yeah. So, and I hadn't technically officially lost my job. They didn't furlough me until a month later. But I just wasn't working. And so, so because with the added, like, California has a thing that's like the California COVID, like, additional EDD assistance or whatever thing, and they named it some long thing. And it's like an extra large amount of money per week. Like, and you get your money every 2 weeks. And so the regular, like the small amount that I would normally get, which would barely have paid any bills or anything. Yeah. They like they tripled it almost. Yeah, about tripled it, because of everything that's going on. Now, on a regular basis, if there wasn't COVID going on, most people would not be able to live off of their unemployment.
No, they wouldn't.
But now it's like all these servers are like, I was working at Applebee's and I was making like $300 a week, and I'm making $500 a week now. Like,
and I'm not working. And I get to spend time with my kids.
I get to spend time with my kids and my family, and like. And
my bills are getting paid. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, so it's like a kind of a dirty little secret going on, that like, if you're working in the service industry, as much as we would appreciate all of you service industry people to go back to work, please, so we would love to go out and have a beer, but which I have done and be waited on, and we appreciate that. So there's that. The other aspect of it is that right now people have found this new. I hope that they have found this new appreciation for your service staff. When you go out to eat. Yes. People are one of the most difficult things for me when I moved here and was continuing to work in the service industry, from moving from a state in Texas where I wasn't getting
25% pretty much.
Yeah, I wasn't getting paid. I was getting paid like, I saw something on CNBC that this lady, it was like just a snippet, like a short bite, but she was saying that like servers in most states in the country get paid basically, like she quoted it, slave labor. $2.13 an hour is not enough for somebody to eat, let alone
$2.13 an hour doesn't even pay your taxes.
Yeah, it doesn't even pay your taxes. So you get, on top of the $2.13 an hour that you should be getting paid
by your employer,
it gets overtaken by your taxes, and then plus some.
Yeah. So I used to joke at the Oasis all the time. That our owner, like, I'd be like, I don't work for him. I work for my guests.
Exactly.
So don't ask me to do shit extra. Else. Yeah, don't ask me to do anything extra. I'm not scrubbing nothing. I'm not cleaning nothing. I'm not taking no gum off and underneath the table for $2.13 an hour. If it doesn't have anything to do with my guests, I'm not doing it, because I was literally like, you don't pay me. Yeah. Like, get the people that you actually pay $7.50 an hour or $10 an hour to go take the gum off the table.
It's like we kind of paid a rent, but we paid a rent by serving our guests that put money into the restaurant.
Yeah, it was like we were like, it was more like hairstylists. Yeah. Like, you rent the space to make money.
Right. We rented the space. But in the Oasis in the off season is when, like, a lot of times the managers would be like on this whole like, well, you're here so clean. I'm like, you're not paying me.
I have had no tables.
I have had 0 tables for 4 hours. You have not paid me a dime to be here. I am not scrubbing a ceiling. Legit. They would be like, you need to get Brillo, like, the scrubbing pads and scrub the ceiling. I was like, have us scrub the ceilings, but they wouldn't, because they weren't trying to be there till 3 o'clock in the morning. But I was like, if you want us to scrub the ceilings, have us scrub the ceilings, like, on a slow morning, on a Saturday, when I know I'm going to leave this place with $250, right. You know? Yeah. But anyways, so we really hope that people, like, learn to appreciate their service staff a lot more, and appreciate not just service staff, but like the the checkout, the cashiers at grocery stores, and your mail person, and your freaking Uber driver who you probably haven't seen in a long time.
Your
Amazon delivery guy. Your gas station
the grocery
delivery people, your Grubhub people, even though I got money stolen from me from Grubhub. But that's another thing.
Yeah. Maybe DoorDash people.
Yeah, maybe DoorDash.
Or Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Even though Uber Eats Uber Eats is so expensive.
It is. It's way more
Uber
expensive.
Eats delivery is so expensive.
But it's
they charge you like an arm and a leg.
Postmates keeps sending me like free delivery stuff because their delivery fee, if you're not a member, is outrageous unless you get like, unless you pick one of the 5 restaurants that like are
free that day.
Not even that day, for that 3-minute period.
Oh yeah. That stressed me out. Derek tried to. He's like, babe. He's like, something's free. I'm like, for 3 minutes? I need more than 3 minutes
to figure out what
decide what I want to eat. like, woo, you gotta get it in.
Well, honestly, what I did was I would just pick. If I saw Chipotle or Chick-fil-A on it, I'd be like, do I want Chipotle or Chick-fil-A? Okay, I already know what I want to eat from them, so I'll just pick that. But I wouldn't be like trying to investigate some brand new spot like on 3 minutes. But a lot of restaurants right now, if you didn't know, are doing free delivery.
The restaurant itself, yeah.
Yeah.
So you just call the restaurant.
Don't Postmates.
Yeah. They'll use whatever delivery fee they have a delivery place they have a contract with, and then they will deliver it to you for free. So Applebee's will actually eat the delivery fee. But anyways, I think like the biggest thing for me about service industry that I want people to understand is like, they have become in this stage 2 of like coronavirus stage that we're in. I don't know if anybody else has gone through stage 1, but we here in California, we're in stage 2.
We'll be in stage 3 hopefully in the next couple weeks.
Hopefully, because I really need to go to a pool.
Yeah.
Stage 2 is just very much like reminded people that service staff, particularly restaurant service staff, and the cooks and the management and everybody, they are essential people. Like people treat them
that was one of the things, garbage.
That was one of the things that was upsetting me, because Derek technically falls into the essential worker category. It really bothers me, the term essential worker, because that is a term that makes it so that nobody, basically essential means you matter and non-essential means you don't matter.
Your job is irrelevant.
So it's like your job is irrelevant. We could live without you. Well, yeah, we could live without you.
But they
technically you're not going to die.
You could live without the servers, but you can't live without the restaurant.
Right.
But then you think like, hey, it's nice to go. Like people are like, well, I mean, they tip like crap at places like Applebee's or Chili's because you have the tablets now. They are going to probably get rid of the tablets because of COVID, because they don't want multiple people touching the screens, or it's going to take you forever to get seated because they're literally going to have to sanitize it with peroxide, alcohol, whatever mixed thing, and sanitize it every time before you use it.
Even though they are supposed to be wiping it down.
They are supposed to be wiping it down every time. But because people have been starting to use those, like some places you can order from those, some places like you can pay from them. Some places, like, you feel like you rarely ever see your server, and you're like, well, why am I tipping them? Like, just because you do not see your server does not mean that they are not making sure you get your food out on time, exactly the way it's supposed to be. Your drinks from the bar, your all those things that you think, like,
your server is back there advocating for you in ways you don't understand.
Right. You don't know because you don't see them enough, and you're just like, well, if I don't see you, then you're not doing your job. No, if you got your food, your server did their job correctly.
If you got your food correctly and hot and whatever, and even still, like, it also, too, there's so many factors around serving that people don't understand. It's like, one, servers tip out. There is no restaurant you go to where the server gets every penny of the money that you hand them. So if you hand somebody an even number, $10, right? Realistically, 40 cents of that for every $10 is going off to somebody else. That's 4%.
Unless if your tab's $100, it's $4.
Yes. So if you tip $10 on, if you tip 10, so example, if you tip $10 on $100, your server is really getting 6.
They're not getting 6 because they are getting 6. $4 if it's going to go to the restaurant.
Yes. So they're really getting 6. So reality is, because they're not tipping out 4% of their tips, because that would be cheaper. That would be 40 cents for every $10. Yeah. What they are tipping, and this is some great math that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
What they are doing is tipping $4. They're tipping out $4 on your $100 tab, regardless of what you leave them.
Yeah.
So if you leave them $5,
they're getting $1.
They're getting $1. If you leave them,
on you and your 8 family members and whatever else,
exactly,
for 2 hours, and you leave them $1 because you didn't want to tip them 15 or 20, what you should be tipping them.
Right. And also, if you So not only that, but if you tip them nothing, now that's actually physically coming out of your server's pocket. They are paying that $4 out of their pocket. Now, $4 may not seem like a lot to you, or maybe it is because apparently you can't leave $4 at least. The fact that that somebody is paying out of their pocket to have waited on you, that's robbery. Yeah. And that's why this lady saying slave labor makes sense. Because
not only you're literally stealing from them. If you like, whenever you go to a restaurant and you do not tip a server, you're stealing
with you're stealing.
You are stealing money from them.
Yep.
You need to think about it as if there's a reason why when you go to a restaurant that it's automatically, that a lot of restaurants require, like we went to Mavericks the other day, there is an automatic, because they upped the taxes here in California. So there's an automatic 4% service charge when you eat at, it wasn't Mavericks. Yeah, Mavericks. Automatic 4% service charge.
You know why? To the people that you're not going to tip because you're cheap.
Because they have an entire security staff there. They have doormen. They have all this stuff, and they want to make sure that the servers aren't paying them, which is great. If you are going to a restaurant and first of all, it doesn't keep people from eating there. Mavericks was packed.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Weekend. People don't have a problem paying the service charge on their Instacart groceries, on their pizza delivery, on their what else? What else has a service
Amazon?
fee? Postmates.
Oh, Amazon's free
delivery. Uber Eats. Prime. People have no You know why it's free? Because Amazon pays people like $15 an hour. Some places over $20 an hour, those guys get paid.
Oh,
that's why you don't tip them, because Amazon doesn't need you to tip them. They're like, no. We're going to deliver for you. Not only are we going to deliver it to you, we're going to do it for free. And we're going to pay the staff double right now because of coronavirus.
Yeah.
People can say whatever they want about Amazon, but Amazon is so far... I remember 10 years ago, Google was the place everybody wanted to work for Google because they had those facilities where you would sit and pods, nap, or whatever it was.
Balls or whatever. The standing desks.
Yoga. They had like grass areas where you could sit on your laptop.
Apple has like full restaurants and stuff in there for their staff. Yeah.
Yeah. People used to talk about that. But Amazon, I've heard some bad reviews for people working for them, but anyways, that's not even the point. The point is, people have no problem paying a service fee for things like that. But
which is weird because they have no problem paying for a service fee because somebody is like on their daily route coming to see you and dropping your food. They didn't make the damn food. They didn't make sure it came out to you hot. They didn't order it. They weren't back there yelling at the expo because it's been 10 minutes and your food should have been out. Your appetizer should have been out 5 minutes ago. They have to tip out the bartender who made your drinks. So you have no issue. A lot of people also have no issue tipping their bartender when they sit at the bar.
Yes, that's another
zero issue tipping their bartender.
People are fine tipping the bartender
because they're like, oh, well, I saw my bartender make a drink. Well, if you don't tip your server, now the server has to pay the bartender.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want to tip them on behalf of the bartender.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, when you are going
you're paying.
You tip your nail tech. You tip your hairstyle. First of all, if you do not tip your hairstylist, you need to check yourself because you need to tip your hairstylist.
If you don't tip your nail tech, that's a whole.
You also need to tip your nail tech. Yeah. Those are all positions that you need to tip because they are providing a service for you. They also have to pay for their spot. Yeah. Hairstylists. If you go to granted, some stylists, if you go to their home, they're charging you their own personal fee, and a lot of times you can tip them, but that's not necessarily a requirement because they're keeping all their money. If you go to a salon, they are paying for their chair there. So they have to pay out of whatever they make towards their chair fee.
Yeah, not to mention the stuff that goes on your hair.
Yeah.
The cleaning supplies.
All their equipment, all that stuff. And you want to make sure that they have what they need so they can take the best care of you.
Yes, exactly.
And also serving, if you didn't know they're tipping, if you didn't know the origin of tipping, was during Prohibition, and when people underground, they had their speakeasies and stuff, and they couldn't legally purchase alcohol, so they couldn't pay their staff. So people volunteered basically to serve them their alcohol in these underground bars. And so they would say tip, a tip is to ensure prompt service. Tips. That's what it's for. We don't tip people up front anymore. We don't sit. Sometimes in bars they'll do that. They'll sit a $100 bill on the counter and then just keep, and then whatever they don't spend, a lot of times they leave you. Most people don't do that nowadays.
Unless they're assholes and they leave. I've had a guest before leave $5 on the table and they said, I'm going to take one away for every mistake you make. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Just tip afterwards because it's condescending nowadays. A server would feel condescending or feel this extra level of anxiety. You just need to tip them because they're doing a good job, and not just because they're doing a good job, but even if your server, there's very few situations that I can even give as an example where I would not tip my server anything.
Yeah.
Like, it would have to be like
something horrible.
Like, they would have to be horrible to me, for me. Because even if I was like, man, I don't really like them, I still, at the end of the bill, go, I gotta at least tip them 15%.
Yeah.
You know? So.
A good example, okay, so Derek and I went out the other day. And for people that are in the service industry, when, again, people of color, Asian people, black people, Hispanic people, sit down in their section, people do not want to wait on them because they feel like they don't, quote, tip, right? So Derek and I go out, we're a mixed couple, even worse, because they think he's cheap, and of course I'm cheap.
We're also young.
So yes, and we're young. So of course, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be with Derek and I.
Blake and
no matter what time, it doesn't matter where we go. Somehow we always spend at least $60. I don't know where it is. Even if we go to Applebee's, we spend $60. If we spend under $40 eating, I'm like,
wow, damn, we did good.
Yeah, we did good. We ate on a budget. So when we go out, we spend money. This particular time, we were in San Diego. Derek and I just moved here, and Derek was doing really good in his business. He was starting to build momentum, and he was like, "Let's go. We're gonna go have, I think we had lunch or dinner or something." We went to dinner. And went on a date, and we went to this place, and it was like on the bay over here in Chula Vista, and it was this really cute little restaurant. It was mostly like older white people this particular night. I think we went on like a Tuesday night or something, and they were doing like, they had a band and whatever. So it was a really cute little place. And we're sitting down, we're eating, and they sit us down in a two-top, and there's a pole, like if we were sitting like this, there was like a pole right here. Our table was bumped up against, right? Those weren't like the greatest table, but I was just like, okay, whatever. So we sit on this table, and I'm looking through the menu. I'm trying to figure out what I want to eat. And right across from me, there's a party of 8 like older white people that get sat. And so I'm thinking, ooh, this server's about to be busy, or there must be 2 servers in this section, right? Because I've been doing this for a long time, so I can't help but observe. So the server says, I overhear her saying, oh, I don't want to wait on them.
In reference
to me, I looked at Derek, I said, she doesn't want to wait on us. He was like, what do you mean? I said, she doesn't want to wait on us. Like, I'm going to say something to her. And I was like, no, don't say anything to her. I hope she waits on us. Send her over here. So she does end up waiting on us. And I ordered a drink. The drink that I ordered, I did not want. It was going to have Myers dark rum in it. I cannot stand Myers dark rum. It was disgusting. I was like, I do not want to drink a Mai Tai with dark. I know technically you're supposed to drink it with dark rum. I didn't want it. I wanted it with Malibu. We don't have Malibu. So she was like, well, we have something else. I was like, I'll try it with that. I'm not really sure if I'm going to like it. I know for sure I do not want Myers dark rum though. So she gets me my drink. Still was disgusting. Okay, whatever. Derek drank it. I think I drank his. We switched. Then I ordered a lemon drop martini because the first drink was disgusting. So I still drank it, but I was still kind of like, ooh, this is not really good. If you have a Mai Tai too, by the way, they can be really gross if they put the wrong rum in it.
Honestly, or if they put too much. Like, if they put too much dark rum, it's not good. There has to be like a balance of. There's actually supposed to be more light rum than there is dark rum, but a lot of people just kind of over it. And then you get it, and where it's like this swirled like dark, like really dark. If it's really dark when you get it, it's gross. It's not gonna be good.
Yes, it's disgusting. So I tried to drink it, whatever. And she was coming by, she was sort of passively checking on us. So I told Derek, I said, we had full intention of spending a good amount of money when we were sitting there. I think our tab ended up being, not only did we order two expensive entrees, I ordered a bottle of wine with my dessert. I didn't order the bottle of wine. I had 2 glasses with dessert. So we drank a lot. So we had our food. My food was great. We ordered an appetizer. We each ordered a drink to start while we were waiting to look at the menu. I ordered a second drink while I was waiting for my food. And then I said, you know what? I want a dessert drink. So we ordered a dessert drink with our dessert where we split a piece of cheesecake. When I ordered the after dinner drink, suddenly she perked up. Suddenly she became so nice. She's like, oh, how was everything? Can I box that for you? Is there anything I can get you? Blah, 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 blah. Rude. I was like, see? We did tip her. We tipped her $40 on our like $160 check. And I looked at Derek and I was like, my goal was to turn her around, to understand, quit judging the table before you go to it. Right. Because cumulatively, we have like 25 years in service industry.
Yeah, a lot.
You cannot just walk up to a table and be like, ooh, no. Because that's the table that's going to tip you. Because if it was anybody else, if it was not me and Derek, and they heard her, that'd have been game over. They would have had a manager that would have been like, what did she just say? Da 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 da. Like, no. They would have raised hell. Rightfully so, because that's really rude.
Yeah, so we're talking about police discrimination. There is service industry discrimination. Granted, people always say, well, there's a reason why there's stereotypes, because they have a hint of truth in them. Is there a hint of truth? Where Ash and I have gotten in arguments with African American people in our family about why you need to tip.
Exactly.
Why your butt needs to tip.
Yeah.
Why are you not tipping? Why are you not tipping this server that waited on our entire family? 7 of us, and you are not tipping.
And you were the worst of us.
You were the most annoying.
Yeah.
You were the most annoying person. You were and this honestly, like, for me, it used to happen to me at the O, where I have no problem. I literally had zero issue waiting on African American people because they liked me. They were so nice, but you have to know how to speak to them, because a lot of times what happens because there are just some, try to say this in a way that doesn't sound horrible. The girl that waited on this group of black people was this little white girl, very sensitive. So every time they would say something to her, she would burst out in tears.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Go pull your nuts up and go over there and be assertive. She's like, well, they're just talking over me. We are loud. Black people are loud. You have to talk.
Yeah.
Like, hey, guys, I'm standing here. Did you need anything? Do you need a refill? Do you need lemonade? You have to be direct. If you're, and they will take it as, great. She's got control. She's paying attention. I literally waited on a family reunion of 25 black people at Applebee's. And they were individually just handing me money as they were leaving. They would just come back. Somebody would just come back around to the bathroom and be like, thank you so much. And just hand me a 20 or hand me a 5. And I was like, yes.
Not to pay their bill, as a tip.
Yeah. And I was just like, yes, thank you. And there's always also be that person. If you can't control your entire family, but be that person that knows how much the total bill is before you leave, and that make sure they're getting tipped. Because you do not assume that your tip that's fantastic on your bill is going to cover everybody else's crappy tip.
Yeah.
Because the bigger the check is, the less
because
your
for all
tip
you
will
know,
do right.
your $10 on 30, maybe the only $10 this person gets on the $200 check.
Yeah. Which is not what you want.
Yeah.
And honestly, if there are 25 of you, most likely your checks are like...
the math that we just did, by the way, that means that server made $2.
Yeah. On probably 2.5 hours of work with ringing in all, especially if you order booze, all 25 of your drinks, or God forbid you want split checks! God forbid you want split checks, or you have non-alcoholic drinks on top of your booze.
Yeah.
Which is even harder and even more pain in the butt. And then you all order food. You all order, like, everybody orders an appetizer. People want split checks. They have multiple families, blah, blah, blah. Now, granted, a seasoned server will handle that with ease. Like, they will, not with ease. They will handle it with poise. There you go, poise. Because it wasn't easy, but and splitting the checks was frustrating too, because a lot of people were like, no, I'm going to pick up this person's check.
Or they would move.
Or they'd move. And there's just so many tips and tricks to serving. Like, we don't really need to give, like, all the people that watch aren't servers, so we don't need to give you, like, all the tips and tricks of how to serve a 25 top. We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But just acknowledge the fact that, just as a guest, yeah. As a guest, pay attention to your server. Be that person that's like, hey guys, like, our server's here. Did y'all need anything?
Yeah.
Hey, and be like, hey, how much was the check? So how much was the check total?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, hey, your check was $40. Mine was $10. Leave $8.
Yeah, because I'm not leaving
extra money for you.
Yeah.
Like, leave your tip. Even if it's $40 and you leave $6, that's better than leaving $2.
And I know that's probably uncomfortable, like, for sure. Like, you don't want to go out with people all the time that are like that. And that's mostly just family where we're like, I've told people, I am not going out with you. Why? Because you tip terribly. I have literally not dated guys before, because the first time I went out, I felt embarrassed. I was like, as a person in the service industry, this is embarrassing. I cannot tell you how many times I have gone to the bathroom and snuck up to the server and been like, I know they didn't tip you. Here's $10. Because I know the person I was with was cheap, and I was just like, I'm just not going out with you anymore. Like, you thought we had a great time. Like, your phone number is getting deleted as soon as I get in the car. Like, as soon as I get in the car, delete. You'd be texting me like, who's this? Oh, yeah. Cheap guy. That's what your name and my phone is going to be. Cheap Guy. I've literally had a guy before. I didn't text him back. He kept texting me, and I was like, you know why I didn't? A guy actually asked me out. He said, I was like, you know why I didn't respond to your text message? Because you didn't tip well. How dare you ask me out and then tip me poorly? What is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you?
Oh yeah, I've had that happen too. Like a guy left their phone number for me. This is way back in the day when I was like my 20s.
Yeah.
Early 20s, like 22.
This is over 10 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. But like guys would leave their phone number, and then I'd look at the tip and I'd be like, that tip didn't even cover the service. Your phone number doesn't replace the lack of zeros that I saw.
Yeah.
Like, no, your phone number is not a tip for me. I don't know you.
Yeah.
If you want to impress your server or your bartender and you just really want to go, first of all, most service staff will not date you.
Yeah.
You have to be a consistent, regularly tip, and they need to see you on a consistent basis.
You have to
be like,
it
takes a lot of work.
To ask a server out, that is an investment. That's like a $400 or $500 investment before you even go out with them.
Yeah. And tipping and conversation and like genuine like kindness, and you have to be a good person. They're about to learn everything about you before they agree. You need to have a job, like a good job. Like there's all kinds of things. Like if you really want to ask out your server or bartender, they're like, I get hit on every day. What is so special about you? Nothing. And a lot of them are which you don't know, a lot of servers and bartenders are in relationships or married. There's another thing.
And also, don't you dare tip somebody bad and then come back and then have an attitude.
That's another thing too. When people, they will not remember, this is the thing, they will not remember your regular tip. If they remember you, it's often because you didn't tip.
Yeah.
So if you expect to go, you're like a regular at Applebee's. We legit had people that were regulars at Applebee's.
Regular stiffers.
And they regularly did not tip. What is wrong with you? If that is you, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why are you going, we had in LA back in the day, we had a couple of like entertainer friends like that were kind of known entertainer friends, and we would go out with them, and you have to tip. People know who you are.
Yeah.
You want to be on TMZ for like, they will legit call, they will be like, hey, this was blank football player that came in and they didn't tip me crap. Here you go, TMZ. Give me my $100.
Yeah.
Because they are just going to be like, they're just going to put you on blast. Like nowadays it's just really hard to not be put on blast. Yeah. But just be a good human being. Like, it is very important.
Be that person that ends up on Bitchy Waiter or Server Life where people are like, oh my gosh, somebody tipped me $1,000 or something. I mean, not everybody has to tip $1,000,
but tip well.
Even 20. Honestly, unless your tab is $600, a $20 tip is awesome. Like for the average
$10 if you're going to eat by yourself and you just spend $20, that's the only time $5 is good.
Yeah.
If you spend $50, you can in good conscience leave $10. It's literally, in California, it's literally double the tax. That'll leave you right at about 16, 17, 18%.
Yeah.
Okay, because tax is so high here. Most states, if you double the tax,
you're leaving 15%.
You're leaving them 15%.
Yeah,
just do that. Just do some real quick math. There are apps for it. Or you just...
a lot of times it's on the bottom of the check.
Yes, a lot of places have it at the bottom of the check. If you use like an app, like BJ's has an app, Chili's and Applebee's have the tablets, it shows you how much it's going to be. Like, just do your part. And now that hopefully a lot of people have realized during COVID that these people that you didn't realize how much you enjoyed eating out and how much of a privilege it is to have somebody wait on you until you had to cook for 4 months by yourself.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't even want to wait on my fiance and my child anymore.
Yeah.
Y'all fend for yourself.
Yeah.
Find something in
all the cereal.
Yeah, all the cereal, all the freaking like the snacks and the leftovers for 3 days because but then you go out and like Blake and I were just so excited to go out and like have somebody make us a solid drink and like eat really good food and have somebody be personable and happy to see us and taking care of us and waiting on us so we can enjoy our time.
Yeah.
So yeah, just remember that, guys. As you go out, as we transition into reopening the country, still be safe, follow the guidelines and the health guidelines.
Yep.
I did mention a couple weeks ago that
wear your mask and don't be a jerk about it.
You also, if you go out to your restaurant, if wearing a mask is the reason why you're not going out to eat, as soon as you sit down at your table, you can take your mask off. So you're not literally like you're not trying to like, shovel food like over your mask or like underneath your mask. Like they allow you to enjoy your space.
You just have to come into the restaurant with a mask.
With a mask. If you leave your table, you have to wear a mask. But the servers,
you're also not allowed to like
you can't intermingle with other tables, stuff like that. But just we obviously, I think Ash and I mentioned this before when we, like a few weeks ago, that we are from the service industry, so we have a very soft spot for the people in the service industry, and we are also engaged to men that were part of the service industry for a really long time as well. So we make it a habit to take that extra step. We don't expect people like us to, like, we don't expect other people to be like us and tip 25% every time you go out. Like, we don't expect to do that. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But we do expect that you take care of the people, and you are gracious, and you are kind, and you are sweet, and you have patience, and you show grace. So, yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's good final thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you go out to a restaurant this week and put money back in the economy, put money back toward your service industry, and to help get, pick them up, even though, who knows, they may not all be working because they're just enjoying the COVID checks.
Enjoying the COVID checks, yeah.
Unemployment,
but make it worth their while. Make it so that when they go back to work that they're not, man, I wish I was still getting my freaking COVID unemployment check. Yeah, and I was like, no, like, I can work and be happy and like, and honestly now, if you weren't tipping them before because you didn't think they were doing anything, they're doing 200 times more work than
as much as sanitation and all that kind of stuff. It's really tough
to keep you safe.
Yeah. So yeah.
But also remember, I guess now, if you didn't at the beginning, subscribe.
Yep.
Hit the bell if you're watching YouTube.
Leave a review. 5-star review.
Yeah, on wherever you're listening, Spotify, YouTube.
And share with somebody.
And share.
Yes.
We love to share. And honestly, feel free to leave comments. Send us an email at TwinLifePodcast@gmail.com if you have anything to say. If you have any topics you want us to cover. Mm-hmm. If you have any questions for us, we'd love to answer questions for you guys. Other than that, have a wonderful rest of the week. And we will see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.